Welcome to the Coach's Decision.
We'd like to thank you for tuning in to a special edition of Coach's Decision with Chris P. Reed. We have a response episode that we were able to get together based on the episode we had about men dating after 40. And so a lot of feedback that we received, a lot of compliments and comments was based on, okay, y'all have the man's perspective of how easy it's not to find love or to find a wife or to find successful dating after 40. And so, would you be able to successfully attain a woman's perspective of dating in the same age range, time perspectives, and things of that nature? And so, we were able to get two bold volunteers to provide their voice to this topic. And one of the things I wanted to do before I started in this is to remind everyone that these opinions and these experiences may be unique, but we do think there's going to be some ties that bind as far as it relates to how people are interacting nowadays, how social media affects those interactions, and how things are not as simple as they once was. And of course, everybody's had a past, everybody's had opportunities to grow and learn. And we want to make sure that we put those things out there so you don't have to get the lumps and bumps that they may have run across or run into over time. So without further ado, I will start the opportunity to provide some questions, and then I'll let the young ladies give the feedback. So I'm gonna start with you, Kendra. At what point did you realize that things were going to be different with men over 40?
When I started trying to date post my divorce.
Okay, so
So
so before your divorce, you never talked to anybody over 40.
did, but I was younger. I didn't really have expectations. It was just somebody to talk to,
Okay. Did
date, and
you
have fun with.
okay? And at that time, a lot of times when a young lady gets with an older guy, it's a daddy issues thing. It's a situation where she wants a person to expose her to things and show her things and kind of take. And then guys who talk to younger girls, they want that same thing. They want to kind of, you know, put a little sugar daddy action on the situation. But it's different when you have a partnership. And so, like you said, you were younger and that person was older. What was different with that older person and then younger guys you had dealt with, or after a certain age is a guy, right? Is there just a standard equation as it relates to men after 25?
No, I think with the older man, it was just that they came off more mature. So they were more settled. They knew exactly what they wanted. It wasn't a lot of the games. Like at that time, it wasn't a whole lot. I'm dating this one and that one and all that. It was pretty much locked in where, hey, I'm looking for one person, one partner to be with. In hindsight, I could say I think they were just looking for some type of companionship,
Okay.
where younger guys, which is typical. I mean, I was young too, clearly. It was, I just want to kind of test the waters. I want to see if this one's good for me, this one good for me, or whatever. And you're still trying to figure out like what you like, what you don't like, what you're going to settle for, and what you're not. So um, I'm pretty much, even when it comes to friendships, I like that commitment factor.
Okay.
So dating younger men, I wasn't trying to compete with other women. I wasn't trying to deal with him having time for me on Saturday and then so and so on Sunday and all that. I just didn't want to deal with that. I wanted one person. We get to know each other and see if it worked from there. And if it didn't, okay, pause. Let me get to the next person. But having two or three, multiple people at one time, I wasn't for that.
I'm gonna ask one more question before I go to you, Jessica. When you're a younger woman and you date an older man, is it true that you consider yourself as a prize or as a trophy or as a tenderoni on his arm? Is that a mindset that you had at all? Like he think he's
Nope.
somebody because he was able to get a young woman like me?
Nope. I always ask them, I want to know what you see in me. Like it actually kind of bothered me a little bit because I'm thinking, if you're this age, let's say you're 50 and I'm
Mhm.
28,
Mhm.
what could you possibly have in common with me? So in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking too, like if your mentality is stuck to the point that you really can see yourself building with a 28-year-old woman, 9 times out of 10, I know I'm not going to be with you long term because by the time I'm 40 or 50,
You taking
we're
care of
still,
him? Yeah, you taking
yeah,
care of him.
and it's gonna be, and it's just, I mean, we're not gonna be on, we're never gonna be, to me, on the same level. Like, I knew
Absolutely.
I was acting age appropriate. I'm not
Right.
gonna say immature, but I knew I was acting age appropriate. But I did know at a certain point in time, okay, you're gonna get to a certain level, you're gonna mature. You need somebody to kind of match that. And Yeah, I don't know. I never thought like I was the prize or anything. I actually was just kind of curious, like, why you interested, and what is wrong with you that you can't get a woman your age?
So before I move on, do you have an issue with Bill Belichick and his girlfriend?
Personally, no, because I don't know the man, but if it was my daughter, yes. If I had a daughter, I would have a problem with that.
Okay. All right. So Jessica, did you ever, before you were 35, date a guy that was over 40?
No.
Assuming that you're 35 now. Oh, so you never dated up? You was always
Well, I
playing at
was
your level, huh?
for me though, I got married pretty young, so I was married for all of my 20s, and a little bit of my 30s.
Okay.
So no.
And when you came out, it wasn't an option to date an older, settled, established man? Like that's not what you were looking for or attracted to?
I mean, I'm not really attracted to the age per se. There's other things that I'm looking for. So if you were older, whatever, that's fine. But usually when I came after I got divorced, I've dated several people, obviously, but they're always like my age or a little bit older than me,
Okay.
but not, a couple years older than me or whatever.
I would find it hard to believe that no older dude tried to holler at you, Jessica, if you go
Well, I
outside the
didn't
house.
say that they have not, but I'm just saying I have not. For me
Why,
personally, I've not dated.
why was
them.
you turning them down, Jessica? Why was you turning them down?
Well,
The old cat daddies. Why was you not into cat daddy?
well, I don't know. If I didn't feel, I got to look at you and feel like, okay, like I could probably work with you. But that's the number one thing for me. You have to have some initial attraction to somebody. So if you don't have it, then I'm not going to entertain that.
Got you.
I mean, I don't know if that's
So
shallow,
you did
but I need to be able to have some kind of.
no. No.
Mhm.
You like what you like. The good thing about an older black woman, especially, is they know what they want,
Right.
what they don't want, what they're gonna put up with, and what they're not gonna put up with. It's like a known type situation. So that's comforting. And we found that out in another way when we talked about women knowing what they think they want. But Mike, so in that same vein, when you were younger, you had a impression of dating and you had an impression of men and how they interact with women. And then obviously you married that guy, but you probably dated some guys before him. What was the difference in those type of dates, those type of guys, and when you got grown, funky grown, and start running into these guys and was dating them? Could you tell a big difference? Was it just because times had changed, or did you think, damn, these type of dudes is different than they was when I was younger?
Well, here's the thing for me. When I was younger, I kid you not, I really didn't date a lot of people. Like the person that I married, I met him when I was 17. I married him at 20. And like I said, I was married to him all of my 20s and then a little bit in the 30s, until I divorced him. Then after
Okay.
that, well, that's when I hit the scene and started to meet obviously a lot of guys. And
Okay.
that's where I was really enjoying my life. And I tell people I enjoyed my life after the divorce because I, like most other people, they were out enjoying their 20s. They weren't married at 20. Like most people
Mhm.
I know were not married
Mhm.
at 20.
Mhm.
So I did like a reverse thing compared to what other people do, if that makes sense.
So although you weren't attracted to the cat daddies, did you have any younger guys in that dating time frame that was because young dudes gonna shoot they shot. Like they unafraid. They gonna come and you be like, what you
That's what I was gonna.
so
That's literally what I was gonna say. It's the reverse for me. I have a whole bunch of young guys, like
okay.
young. I get them all the time, and I'll be like, I'm like double your age, but they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that something that attracts you?
No.
Does it flatter you at least? Does it flatter you for the young fellas out there? Can they keep coming at y'all?
I mean, it flatters me, but I've entertained some of them. I have, but I wasn't looking like to be in a long term with any of these people, obviously. And then, so come out a couple dates or whatever, and then I dismiss them. But that's personally what I do. I can't speak for
I really love them and leave them. You love leaving these young men like that. Okay, all right, as long as you own it.
I don't want them to be attached to me. I'm not going to teach you. I'm not going to teach you anything. I'm not your teacher. So, I'm not going to waste time with that. And then I like to be wined and dined, and they're not going to be able to wine and dine me. I mean, I can take care of myself, but as a woman still likes at some point to be wined and dined, every now and again.
Okay.
But I don't need people like that.
So Kendra, in that same vein, do you get a lot of guys looking for some cougar action with you, or is that how it's gonna be when you get to a certain age? It's gonna be young dudes shooting a shot, and you got to knock them off like flies. Is that how it works out there?
I'm getting the equal. I'm getting, yes, very young, like literally half my age. I think the
Okay.
youngest is 23,
Okay.
but I'm also getting the extremely old, like
Okay.
my daddy's age.
Okay,
So I'm
okay,
not getting
non-denominational. Okay, okay.
none my age. I'm not getting any within a
Really?
5-year span between my age, younger or older.
What is the deterrent from a younger guy for you?
One, I have a 16-year-old son, and you're not going to be his friend.
Oh,
I just can't. I just a lot of them look young. They still look young, so you look like his friend. I can't do that. And then two, like she said, you can't offer me, advice. You haven't lived enough
Exactly.
experience home from a day of work. Like, and I've tested the waters.
okay.
Hey, how was your day at work? Is this busy? Your response sounds like an irresponsible 23, 24, 25-year-old.
Okay.
Well, I can't have those type of conversations with you, and I would expect your response to me to be that age. I expect it to
Mhm.
be that way. The other thing is, yeah, you just haven't lived enough life for me. I also think about that. I was about to say child, but I also think about that young man. You've
Right.
never been married. You've never had a kid.
Right.
Come on. And I believe in karma. I wish my son will get to be 23 years old and bring home a 40-something-year-old woman. We're gonna
Right.
have some problems.
Right. Right.
Oh, that's just not happening. It's not. And I have a couple of friends who try to encourage me to get a YN because they doing that, but they doing it for fun.
Right. Right.
But then they have the same issue she said. Now he attached. Now he borderline stalkerish. Now he this, he that. I can't get rid of him. I'm not doing that. I've been stalked before. I'm not doing that. Mm-mm.
So let me stick with you and ask this question. In the idea of, because both of y'all have said it's not necessarily specifically age specific, meaning there's a range, let's
Mhm.
say plus or minus 5 years from you where you are. And you can figure it out. Y'all have enough conversations, things in common, things of that nature. But what are you finding if there is a guy plus or minus 5 years from you? What is the common thread of things that you see red flags
So can
for?
I answer?
Is it baby mama?
Yeah,
Let
please
her
go
go
ahead.
first, Jessica. I can see your body language.
Yeah, I
Let her
was
go
like, I
first.
need to take a breath.
Okay, okay. Jessica, go ahead. You got it.
They're
What are you
they're
finding
all
as the common
all
thread?
married. They're all married that approach me. They are all married. So that's a huge red flag.
Okay.
Every last one of them is married.
Really?
I kid you not.
Let me ask this. Let me ask this for the audience sake. How does that work normally? That a married guy has the confidence to approach? Is it an internet thing? Is it a Panera Bread thing? Is it anybody everywhere?
It's
Like
anywhere
how do guys really?
anywhere you go. And
Yes.
then here's the thing: married men have more time than a single man does to do whatever they
Sure
whatever
do.
they want to do. And I have been caught up with married men, but first of all, I didn't know the dude was married, and I asked the questions, and he said no.
Okay.
I
Okay.
asked the question, he said no.
Yep.
And then because I was like, but I kind of had some red flags a little bit about some stuff, but I seen him every day. He was at my house every night, he spent the night all the time. So I'm thinking in my head, like, he can't be married because he's over here all the time. So yeah.
Yeah. And I would say, one, I remember this was a few years ago. He personally reached out to me and said, look, I'm not leaving my wife. I want to let you know that up front, but I travel a lot. Your city is one of my spots. I've been
Okay.
watching how you respond and act on social media. I would like for you to basically be my entertainment when I'm in town. At which point I said, what about my profile picture made you think I
Okay.
was down for
Okay.
the cause? Because
Okay.
I need to change.
Okay.
But it's very bold. It's very much like, this is what it is. I still don't know what benefit I was going to get from that, from him. But I did ask him, I said, no, seriously, like, what made you decide to reach out to me? Cause I'm actually a little offended. Like, you may have thought it was a compliment. And he said, honestly, I know you have just as much to lose as I do. So I'm not worried about you telling my wife. Now, mind you, I'm not in a relationship or nothing. Like, he didn't clearly saw on my page, but he knew where I worked.
Mhm.
Like you said, he could tell how I carried myself on social media. He knew I was a mom, all that. So he felt like I was safe enough that I wouldn't be one to go back and tell his
To blow up
wife
a
any.
spot.
They were
Let me ask this, and I'm asking for y'all to represent some other kind of woman. And so you may not do a great job of it, but I think that for the sake of our listeners, it would be beneficial. Tell me the kind of woman that is attracted to a transactional relationship like that with a married man? Because I'll tell you this, 100%. People only do things to their benefit and because they feel like they can get away with it, or they feel like it's been done before, or they've seen it or heard about it being done. And so it creates a level of confidence. So dudes that are married are coming at these women because they've seen or heard that it's acceptable or possible. But the type of women that go for it, can you give me a glimpse into the mind or to the heart of that type of woman? Because I talk about all the time that loneliness is one of the most epidemic drugs that we have in this country, like being lonely. And we did a episode on the difference between being alone and being lonely. But Jessica, I'll ask you, what type of woman, what is the makeup of that woman that gets approached by a guy and then is like Kendra said, down for the cause? Do you know anybody, not to name any of your friends or out anybody, but do you know somebody, and can you give me some sympathetic reasons why, hey, it's his job to worry about his marriage, that type of stuff, you know?
Well, I can literally tell you from personal experience, I've been one of those women. But I couldn't say, for me, it was the thrill, legit, the thrill.
Okay. Okay.
And then it became a whole ordeal after that. But I eventually was like, this is wrong on my part. I mean, even though I didn't take a vow to anybody, but so, I got out of it. But for me, it was really the thrill. And my mindset at times is kind of similar to a man's. So when I met the guy, I was immediately attracted to him, and I've thought to myself, I just want to hang out with him for a little bit and then be done with him. But I was never, but yeah. And then so that's how it happened for me. But
Have you ever heard of a situation where it started off like that, something went wrong, she got pregnant, and now what are we doing? Or, the other side, the family on the other side of town type situation. Have you ever been exposed to that in nowadays? Because I know it used to happen all the time back in the day, where a dude had a whole nother family and then they kind of knew about each other. But does that still happen, or is it just too much? Is it too much technology and distance that don't allow for those things to happen anymore?
I think they still happen. There's some great Lifetime movies about it. I've seen a Lifetime movie, but okay, you can answer.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
no, I
I
was
think it's
asking. Go ahead, Kendra. Go ahead.
I think so. I don't know anybody. I was thinking, I was like, I think the last situation I've seen like that, this person, the child is grown now within their 20s, but I'm sure it definitely still happens.
They have websites that tell on dudes, though. I mean, are women using that, or do y'all know about women that's using those websites
Yeah,
that's
they,
out
they have
and
local websites. They have local Facebook groups that say, "Hey, is this your man?"
Yeah, I've heard about them.
What?
I've heard about them, but
But
I
you got
mean,
yeah,
I don't
what's the
personally
T
go
on
on
it?
all
Like,
those sites like that.
yeah, I don't go on the sites. I'm not doing all that. But they have Facebook groups that say, okay, hey, is this your man? Do y'all got anything on him? And then women post like, oh yeah, this, and this, or I know him, I don't
Hmm.
know him. I think it's gonna stop most women because by the time they posting this man, their emotions are
Right.
attached. And
Okay.
they may either trying to validate what they already thought about him or just really hope that no one knows about him or anything. But yeah, I don't think it really deters most women.
No. And then a lot of times they're believing the man. Like I've had a friend and the guy said, just give me 1 year, but I mean, he kept saying he was leaving the wife and all this was going to happen, but it never happened. They tell you, I guess, what you want to hear. And, some women just are going to believe it. But after a while, I mean, you got to know it's not going to happen and move on.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a situation where women are more, it's an easy question, so I don't want to be too easy, but women may be cast as more hopeless romantics than men? Because I can tell you, if I have a friend or somebody in the friend group and he's dating or sleeping with a married woman and we know about it, and he's talking about, yeah, she's going to be my girl, and switch up from this dude to me. Dudes just have too much ego to share a woman.
Right.
That's just how dudes normally are constructed.
Mhm.
Is it a situation where you as a girlfriend say that's none of my business, that's her? Or do you say, come on, girl, why are you chasing after a dude that's already got somebody he's taken or he's spoken for? Why don't you find somebody you could speak for without competing with this other chick? Is that conversations that y'all have, or do y'all just kind of stay in y'all lane?
Well, I actually I told her, but I mean, and she was like, he said, give me 1 year. Then he was like, then he changed it to let my daughter graduate, and he was invested in a business that they had together. He couldn't leave right
Yep.
now. I mean,
Yep.
it just went from one
Yeah,
excuse
he
to
live in
the
China.
next to the next, and I told her it's never gonna happen. He's never leaving his wife,
Right.
Yeah.
but she's
Yeah.
actually to
Well-
this day still with him.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So I mean, it
and
don't
what say you, Kendra, on that?
I mean, it just depends. I've had a couple of friends who've entertained married men. I had someone who wanted to, like recently. It depends. I feel like you're grown.
Mhm.
You know what you're about to get yourself into. Recently, I told a friend, I was like, no, you're not built for that life. You're not built. Some women get into it just for the attention. They know what the deal is. They know, hey, I'm just going to get the perks out of it. It ain't my man. It's not my marriage.
Mhm.
And so they conduct themselves differently than the women who actually believe like, oh yeah, he's going to leave in a year, blah, blah, blah. Those are the ones that I'm talking to like, okay, well then wait until he actually leaves. See if he really leaves, you know?
Mhm.
For me, it really just depends on the personality of my girl. But whatever decision she ride with, you know, I listen, but you know, I listen and I try not to judge. Let's say that.
Okay. Wait a second. That was crazy. That was very interesting. It's rare that you find two young ladies that are willing to bare their souls, open up, and give this type of game. We definitely want to make sure that you marinate on what was said here. Tune in to the next continuation of this conversation and finish what we started here today. We look forward to you tuning back in. Take care of yourself and make sure that you take it easy or take it any way you can get it.